Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tearing into a book that completely changed the game for marketers, How Brands Grow by Professor Byron Sharp. So get ready, because we're about to bust some of the biggest myths you've ever heard and uncover the scientific laws that actually make brands bigger. So let me ask you a question right off the bat. Is what you do in marketing every day based on actual, hard evidence? Or is it more like superstition? The things we all do just because, well, that's how it's always been done. This explainer is going to help you figure that out. All right, pop quiz time. Just have a quick look at these ideas on your screen. What does your gut tell you, true or false? Don't worry, I'm not grading you, but I will tell you this. After decades of research, the real answers are going to surprise you, because a lot of these, they're just flat out wrong. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off by tackling marketing's biggest myths. Then we'll get into the whole illusion of customer loyalty. After that, we'll uncover the one true law of growth, which leads right into why penetration is really your number one priority. And we'll wrap it all up with a brand new way to think about your strategic goals. Okay, let's dive into our first section, marketing's common myths. The book makes this brilliant and kind of painful comparison. It says that a lot of well-meaning marketers today are like medieval doctors. They're smart, they work hard, but the theories they're using, they might be totally flawed. I mean, think about this for a second. For 2,500 years, the smartest doctors in the world practiced bloodletting. Why? Because the theory said it should work. Nobody actually checked the evidence. And that's the point. A lot of what we call marketing best practices are just like that. Untested assumptions that feel right but don't hold up to the data. We're here to fix that. All right, on to section 2, where we get to the heart of the matter, the illusion of loyalty. This idea takes a sledgehammer to what is probably the core belief of all modern marketing, the idea that the key to growth is building a small army of super loyal fans. So, let's make this real. Think about a huge brand like Crest toothpaste. Is it the market leader because its customers are way more loyal than, say, Colgate's customers? Or something else going on entirely? Well, the answer lies in something called the double jeopardy law. And you need to remember this one. It's a scientific law, not a theory, that says smaller brands get a double whammy. First, they have way fewer people buying them. And second, those few buyers are also just a tiny bit less loyal. And you don't have to take my word for it. Let's look at the data. Check out the UK washing powder market. Persil is the big dog here. It has a 41% penetration, meaning 41% of households buy it. Compare that to the smallest brand, Surf, at 17%. That's a huge difference in the number of buyers, right? But now, look at that last column, purchase frequency. That's our loyalty metric. It's basically the same, 3.9 versus 3.4. The loyalty is almost identical. Let's just zero in on this, because this is the key insight. Persil has more than double the number of buyers as Surf, but its customers are only a tiny bit more loyal. We're talking half a purchase a year. So what does that mean? It means a brand's size is almost all about how many people buy it, not how often they buy it. And I really need to stress this. This is not a fluke. This isn't just about washing powder in the UK. This pattern shows up everywhere. We're talking decades of data across hundreds of categories, cars, coffee, banking, you name it, in countries all over the world. It's a predictable, scientific law. And just to really hammer it home, let's jump to a totally different category, U.S. shampoo. And what do you know? It's the exact same story. Suave has almost 10 times more buyers than Finesse. But the difference in loyalty? It's practically nothing. The pattern is undeniable. So, that brings us to the big question in section 3. If chasing after this mythical super loyal customer is a waste of time, then what actually drives growth? How do you really grow a brand? The answer, it turns out, is incredibly simple. You don't grow by increasing loyalty. You grow by increasing your popularity. And in marketing terms, popularity just means getting more people, many more people, to buy you, even if it's just once a year. Growth is a game of getting more customers, period. So just how big is the difference in potential here? Well, get ready for this number. When you run the math like the book does for a car brand, it's jaw-dropping. The opportunity to get sales from acquiring new customers is up to 50 times greater than the opportunity from trying to stop your current customers from leaving. The real money is in acquisition. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Check out what the most effective award-winning ad campaigns actually do. The data from the super prestigious IPA Effectiveness Awards is crystal clear. Campaigns that aim for penetration, getting more buyers, are the ones that win the big awards. And the ones that focus on loyalty, an incredible 89% of them won no medal at all. The results speak for themselves. Which leads us logically to our fourth section. If you want to grow, penetration has to be your #1 priority. This is your new strategic focus. So your primary goal is no longer to target some tiny, perfect niche of brand lovers. No, your goal is to reach all the buyers in your category. Your real growth comes from the huge number of light, infrequent buyers, the people who might only think about you once or twice a year. You have to make it easy for them. So how do you do that? How do you reach all those people? It boils down to building 2 critical things. #1 is mental availability. That just means when someone is in a buying situation, your brand easily pops into their head. And #2 is physical availability, which simply put means you're easy to find and easy to buy. Be easy to mind and easy to find. That's the whole ballgame. So let's pull all these threads together now in our final section. We're moving from an old, outdated view of the world to a new one, based on what the evidence actually tells us. This slide is the perfect summary. The old way of thinking was all about differentiation, targeting, and loyalty. It assumed customers care deeply. The new evidence-based view? It's about being distinctive so you're easy to notice. It's about penetration and reaching everyone. It recognizes that most consumers are just uncaring cognitive misers. They just want to get on with their day. And so advertising isn't about persuading them. It's about building memory structures so your brand comes to mind when they need it. And don't think this is just some fun academic exercise. As the former CEO of Nielsen said, as long as your competitors are stuck in the old way of thinking, applying these scientific laws gives you a massive competitive advantage. While they're chasing the loyalty myth, you can be methodically growing your brand by doing what actually works. So, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. Take a hard look at what you and your team are actually doing. Are you spending your budget trying to squeeze a tiny bit more loyalty out of your existing customers? Or are you focused on the real engine of growth, building mental and physical availability for every single person who could possibly buy from you? Because the answer to that question might just change everything.